Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're talking about a huge leap for AI. We're talking about upgrading it from just a simple tool into something that can actually solve problems for you.
You know that feeling, right? You ask an AI for help with something complicated, and what do you get? Just a giant list of links? A data dump? It's like, here, you figure it out. But what if it could really think? What if it could actually get the job done for you? Okay, let's take planning a trip. Right now, an AI might just give you a list of flights and maybe some cool places to see. But an agentic AI, it's like having your own personal travel agent. It gets what you want to do, it goes out and finds the flight options, researches the attractions, and then, this is the key, it decides how to stitch it all together into an actual plan. It's not just finding stuff, it's acting on it. So here's the plan for this explainer. We're going to look at AI's next big step, define what this agentic RAG thing is, peek inside the agent's mind to see how it works, see how it's a huge upgrade, and then talk about its power and its pitfalls. Right, so let's start with why this matters. This isn't just some small, incremental update. No, this is a fundamental shift in how we think about and use AI. For a long time, AI has been really good at one thing: finding information. You ask a question, it pulls an answer from a massive database. But the next big frontier, it's giving AI the power, the autonomy to take that info and actually do something with it. It's that shift from just retrieving to acting.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What is this technology making it all happen? It's called Agentic RAG.
So, Agentic RAG sounds a bit technical, right? Let's break it down. RAG stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Retrieval-Augmented just means it pulls in fresh, real data to answer your question. Generation is the AI writing the response. But that agentic part, that's the secret sauce. It's what gives the AI the power to make its own decisions, to become an autonomous agent that figures out the best way to get something done.
This really gets to the heart of it. Think about traditional AI. It's reactive. You tell it what to do, it follows a script. But agentic AI is proactive. It can change its plan as it goes, based on new information. You don't have to micromanage it. It's thinking for itself.
So how does this thing actually think? How does it go from your question to a finished task? Well, it's not magic. It's a really smart process. So check this out. It doesn't just jump in and search. First, it kind of rephrases your question to make sure it gets what you're asking. Then it has to decide where to look. Is the answer in a database? Does it need a specific tool, an API? Or should it just search the web? Once it grabs the info, it creates a response. But, and this part is so important, it doesn't stop there. It actually checks its own work to see if the answer is accurate and makes sense. It's this full cycle of thinking, doing, and then checking. And just like a real team, you can set up these AI agents in different structures, depending on how tough the job is. The simplest way is with a single agent. Think of it like a router or a switchboard operator. It gets your request and figures out the one right tool for the job. For simple stuff like, what's the weather, it knows exactly where to send that query. But for the really complex stuff, you bring in the team. This is a multi-agent system. You have a manager agent that acts like a boss. It looks at your big, messy problem, breaks it down into smaller jobs, and then hands those jobs off to specialist agents. You might have one agent that's a web search expert, another that's a genius with your calendar, and a third that knows all about databases. They all go off and do their work at the same time, and then the manager pulls all their reports together to give you one final, comprehensive answer.
Okay, so now we know how it works, but let's talk about why this is such a massive deal. Why is this such a big upgrade from what we have now?
Yeah, this table says it all. Traditional AI, it's reactive, it's rigid. But agentic RAG, it's proactive and dynamic. The two big words to remember here are proactive decision-making and high flexibility. It's not stuck on a fixed path. It can adapt, it can improvise, it can find a better way to solve your problem.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's the difference between a librarian who just points you to a book and a research assistant who actually reads it, summarizes it for you, and tells you what to do next. That is the leap we're talking about. We're going from just finding information to getting real, intelligent help.
Okay, this all sounds amazing, right? But of course, with all this power comes some new challenges. This stuff is incredible, but it's not a silver bullet. Not yet. Let's start with the good stuff. The advantages are huge. We're talking way better efficiency, being able to juggle multiple tasks at once, and the responses you get are so much more relevant and personal because the whole system is adapting to what's happening right now. But on the flip side, there are some real hurdles to clear. For one, these systems are way more complex to build and run. And that old saying, garbage in, garbage out, it's more true than ever. If the agents can't get good data, you won't get a good answer. Plus, all that thinking can take time, so responses can be a bit slower. And man, it takes a ton of computational horsepower. And I want to be clear, this isn't some far-off science fiction. Developers are building this stuff right now. They're using incredible toolkits like LangChain, Llama Index, and LangGraph to actually construct these agent systems. These frameworks are a huge deal because they're making it possible for way more people to create these super complex AI workflows that used to be almost impossible to build.
So that leaves us with one final, kind of mind-blowing thought. We started this whole thing talking about planning a simple trip, right? But what happens when these agents get even smarter, even more autonomous? What happens when they can manage not just a vacation, but a whole business or a massive research project? What happens when they can make a scientific discovery all on their own? That's the future we're heading towards.